Wife had emotional affair, shared text I love you, engaged in sexting sending lewd photographs. Need advice? Hello all, my 35 wife 34 recently engaged in an apparent emotional affair for 3-4 months until she got caught, and I'm looking for some advice. We have been married for 6 years, together for 8. D-Day was 7 days ago. How I found out. I got a new bank card and forgot to update our wireless cellular provider payment. After updating with a new card, something compelled me to check the call logs of her phone. She had been distant off and texting late night, and I didn't feel like checking her cell phone feeling like a jealous husband, but maybe the call logs would be a good weatherstone to check if anything was wrong. What I saw just raised some alarms. The minutes of conversation with this phone number was greatly larger than any other number combined. She was also calling him late at night, early in the morning when she was away from home visiting her parents. She was also calling him during her workday. One day she was on the phone with him for 3-4 hours. I did a reverse phone number search and found that this one particular person was a good friend of hers from a long time ago. After confronting her with this and wanting to know what was going on, her initial story was that he was just a friend, has a stressful job, and needed support. He is a police officer, and she greatly respects and is interested in law enforcement in general, almost going to the academy herself. After I asked if she felt that there were any boundaries being broken here, she replied with no. But then changed her story. I asked her to tell me the complete story, and that I was a man and could take it. But if she downplayed, lied, or omitted, that would not be great, as we would be stepping over the course of the next 3-5 iterations of the story. It has changed from 1. Being a good friend to someone who needed support, 2. Harmlessly flirting over text, 3. Sharing an I love you over text message, 4. Sexting over text and telling fantasies with her just listening, 5. Sharing semi-nude pictures over text message, picture of her in bra in a S-timey pose, 6. My wife and him planning on her leaving me and moving in with him, 7. They never met physically to hook up, however he did bring her coffee at her workplace, and they did meet at a gas station. During her self-disclosure, she constantly downplayed by using the "it just happened, I had no intention of this getting this far, and it was stupid." She also tried to deflect and lay blame, accusing me of cheating, having a relationship with someone online. Not true, although I did watch pornography. Unfortunately, she has chosen to delete all text messages, so there is no proof. She tried to restore the iMessages, but they were not being saved into iCloud. She is working on writing down a timeline of what has happened. I asked her if she loved this man, and she said she did not. It was an escapist fantasy. They talked about how I was emotionally unavailable, and that I would rather be watching movies in front of a computer screen instead of spending time with my wife. I have been suffering from depression for a while, and feel like this is an unhealthy behavior on my part. I was also withdrawn and snappy with my wife. When I went to leave to gain some space time to think, my wife physically confronted me and did not let me leave to clear my head. She then proceeded to threaten to kill herself, taking a loaded gun and pointing it to her head. She said that she didn't want to live a life without me, and that I would get everything in the divorce if she killed herself. I called her father before I left for work that day, saying that I was worried about her physical safety, and that I don't think me calling off work to deal with it would be appropriate, considering it would be like throwing fuel into a fire. We had dinner, and his take on it is that we should move and just reset by renewing our vows, wiping the entire slate clean.
Stay tuned for more.
When he left, she then drafted some suicide notes to me and her family members, not going into particulars, but saying that she was at fault. The why she provided: she needed to feel validated and beautiful, and I was not providing that. She also wanted to be listened to and heard. I believe that I have been emotionally detached, and I own that. I do want to believe her that it may not have been physical, but I don't think I will never know for sure. I reached out to the AP via text message and said that I was not angry at him. I didn't marry him, I married my wife. He has since blocked my wife from calling, texting. She tried to reach him while I was in the room on speakerphone. I am interested in getting his side of the story, as there are no text messages to confirm. Since then, my wife has been bargaining, wanting me to sleep in the same room with her. She has been initiating S-time, and truth be told, it is amazing. We've done things we have never done before in 6 years of marriage. However, part of me is feeling like I'm not getting the full story. I wish she had told me everything up front, and I still have a nagging feeling that I still do not know everything. My worst fear, this is all theatrics and smokescreen, and I still don't know the full story because she has consistently lied, omitted some things that she felt would hurt me to hear. Any new discovery, if I plan on reconciling, would be a fresh wound and start back at stage 0, as my trust in her is completely vanished. I don't want to be an amateur NSA agent tracking down my wife to keep her honest. Any impartial third-party advice would be helpful. I know that in some part, my actions may have driven her to this result. Redditor's reactions update after. Redditor 1, she's investing a lot of effort into making you out to be the reason all of this happened. And it seems to be working, based on your admissions about being distant and depressed. I think the goal is to get you to stop asking questions and digging into what went on further out of guilt. Pretty textbook cheater behavior. Op answer. That is true, she did deflect a lot. She swears up and down nothing physical happened, no kissing, holding hands, etc. Her points are valid. I am humble enough to recognize that. But stepping outside the marriage isn't the answer, right? I was in the same marriage and I didn't do that. I fear that she is not yet ready to leave me, or that her boyfriend dumped her after I disclosed to her that I knew about it, and she tried to jump ship. So now I'm the only one she's got for now. Redditor 2, my wife and him planning on her leaving me and moving in with him. They never met physically to hook up, however he did bring her coffee at her workplace, and they did meet at a gas station. These two statements are cognitively incongruent. I've been cheated on a number of times. They don't go from coffee to I'm leaving my husband for you. There are dozens of steps between those two events and it absolutely requires intimacy. I guarantee that this is only the tip of the iceberg, and the best predictor that your partner has been physically cheating on you is a change in their bedroom behavior. Either way, if they've always been interested in time and now aren't, as well as if they've not been much and are now insatiable, trying new things. She didn't pick that up from caffeine. Edit. I had a partner of 10 years who was adamantly opposed to time either way. One night she voraciously desired it, actually demanded it, both ways. 4 weeks later I walked in on her cheating on me with someone my son's age. The why she provided she needed to feel validated and beautiful, and I was not providing that. She also wanted to be listened to and heard. I believe that I have been emotionally detached, and I own that. This is gaslighting and projection. You can be responsible for a relationship ending. You are never responsible for your partner cheating. Sorry. Op answer. What are your thoughts on the balance of the outgoing incoming calls? She calls him 10 times for his every one. Do you think he did the old pump and dump? Redditor 3. Generally if there is an opportunity to meet up during an EA then people do so. And then it almost invariably ends up in becoming a PA. Why meet at a gas station? Does that sound like something adults do? Op answer. Good point. Her story is that is when they first met, reconnected. After that, he brought her coffee at work. The balance of calls is what is disturbing. She had about 10 outgoing calls to his one. It looks like she was chasing pretty hard.
Stay tuned for more.
State of affairs update. Disarmed. Update. I've arranged for the firearms to be stored off premises until this thing de-escalates. I will be doing this when she is out of the house, so today during her work shift. We had some talks. She is willing to take a polygraph and she swears it was never physical. She acknowledges that what she shared and talked about was wrong. Her timeline of events. 1. They went to the same HS together and used to work together. They used to talk somewhat frequently, but never about romance sex. He has always had a thing for her apparently. She never found him attractive, but respected him a lot because of what he ended up doing professionally and seems to be in love with the idea of a cop. I apparently met him once. He's extremely short and not as attractive. 2. Meeting 1 at the gas station. This took place before they ever started this engagement, talking, and they caught up. This is what sparked the affair taking place. 3. They shared their first I love you when he mentioned how bad of a day he was having, how difficult his job was, and how he was thinking about killing himself. He said it first. 4. She increasingly called him. Looking at the logs, she was calling him for 2-3 hours during her workday. Also calling on the weekends, evenings. 5. They had gradually began increasing their call volume, texting volume over time. He would spout it like wanting to see her naked, wanting to give her a blow job with glasses, wanting to bend her over the police cruiser. Her words are that she didn't participate as much, but also didn't stop it. 6. She sent him pictures of herself, some random photos fully clothed, a couple of photos from her family's house where she was helping deal with her recently deceased grandmother's belongings and babysitting our nephew. She sent pictures of our nephew to him. One day when he was having a bad day, she sent a picture of her shirt pushed up and her bra showing to him to cheer him up. 7. Meeting 2. He met at her workplace to bring her coffee. 8. The final contact with him is he knows, and we need to end this. She is saying that it never got physical, and that she had no desire to get to that point. From my POV, there is no way of knowing. She still hasn't finished writing the timeline, but it is already 6 pages longhand. I've come to accept that I may never know, and that I have to prepare myself for that, and for in the future if she decides to do this again. I think we had a mini breakthrough today when, after a long day yesterday, I had neglected to put my laundry in the basket, instead laid it on the floor besides the bed. She was extremely snappy with me and I said I'm sorry, but there are 1,000 ways you could have brought that up. Why did you choose to escalate that badly over laundry? I discussed with her that maybe this is why I had the habit of hiding out in the man cave over the last year or so. A lot of these little interactions have probably caused me to be avoidant because they are not positive interactions. She paused to think, and I think the light bulb came on. She still will not let me leave or have space. I've been trying to sleep in separate rooms because 1. She's ovulating and 2. I need time to process these emotions, events, and plan. I am not making any rash decisions in the next 30 days, and I am preparing myself for the worst. We have some scheduled therapist appointments. One thing about being a BS, how best to handle the plans we had before D-Day. 1. Our anniversary is coming up in a week or 2. I had scheduled a fancy night out with my wife. Still good to go. 2. Her birthday is also coming up very soon and I had made plans, gifts. 3. She has a camping trip planned with her family and she wants me to go. 4. We have family vacation, her family coming up. Is it wise to go, or would I feel like I'd be sold a S-it sandwich during this time? I want to leave the door to reconciliation open, but also want to protect myself right now. At this moment, I feel like I'm carrying the burden by arranging the guns to be stored off-site and caring about my wife's mental well-being. I don't want to do anything rash until she gets the help she needs.
Stay tuned for more.
Redditor's reactions. Redditor 1. First off, bravo on getting the guns out of the house. I've been thinking about your post since I read it and I'm incredibly relieved to read this update. You absolutely need to find a way to take space right now. Do not let her stop you. I would skip both the anniversary and birthday celebrations instead of fancy night out and plans, gifts, maybe a card with some thoughts shared in it, a small gift, and takeout. Or none of those things, if you don't want. Let her know that she should go on the family camping trip and vacation without you, that you're going to use that time to heal yourself so that you both can work through this. Whether or not that's what you actually do is irrelevant, but maybe if you can present the need for some space as a positive thing for your relationship, she'll calm down and back off. Redditor 2. I had kids and didn't want them to know, so I just continued normally with any plans. For example, it involved me helping the kids buy gifts for her birthday and making a big deal out of it. In retrospect, and even at the time, even if it bothered me, made me feel resentful or angry, I always felt I could deal with and play the part for the one-offs like birthdays and anniversaries. You mentioned yesterday a 10-1 ratio of her contacting him. That is more than just being in love with the idea of a cop. I am basing this on what I know of men-women differences, with a wife and 2 sisters who are very close to me, their friends, etc. And one thing you said about your wife made me think that she might think the same when he said he had a bad day, and her reaction was to send a bra picture. In relationships, this one and previous ones, when your love interest said she had a bad day, did you send a risque pic to her? I would bet you didn't. My point of view is that your wife maybe didn't find him attractive, but she loved that he had strong desire and attraction for her, This made your wife feel very wanted and desired. That feeling fades in a longer relationship like marriage. Plus this is a new guy, an additional guy, making this more validating, feminine. I think men and women both feel that way to some degree, but in my experience, women more than men, grieving the loss. I think you have to consider your wife is going through this. She lost her good friend, who gave her good feelings. You have not replaced those feelings, not just the new strong desire attraction, but also the new relationship energy, infatuation, limerence, tingles, butterflies, or whatever else you might call it. Your wife is probably smart enough not to share those grief feelings if she is having them, i.e., I'm sad, I miss him. Answer. Your wife is probably smart enough not to share those grief feelings if she is having them, i.e., I'm sad, I miss him. Should she be sharing these with me, or no? Part of me sticking around is to see what this relationship meant to her. Redditor 3. Hey op. Good job with removing the firearms. That definitely needed addressed first. Protecting yourself right now is what's important. A decision on or isn't the priority. Right now, recovery and healing from this is the important thing. Continue to make plans on those therapist appointments for both of you. She's working on the timeline, so that's good, too. As far as these events that are coming up, that is completely up to you. If you can't stomach going through with them, then don't force it. If you think you can do it, then do it. Either way, she must respect your decisions on those things you can do help heal, I see, which you're already working on. This next one I can't stress enough, educating yourself on infidelity and betrayal trauma. This goes for both of you. The book I mentioned in your last post is good start. The Affair Recovery website is a good source of info as well. Lastly, radical honesty. She needs to know how this has made you feel. Tell her everything. Also, there's a group for waywards as well. Our support for waywards. Encourage her to check out this sub, and as one. Waywards need support as well. All in all, for just a week or so out, you're taking this like a champ. Keep reaching out for support so you won't have to go it alone. Hang in there. Redditor 4. Good job on your actions so far. Pre-D-Day plans. F that noise. And I mean it very seriously. Your relationship is hanging by a thread. The life support plug is on the verge of being pulled. Why on earth spend even 1 minute pretending things are normal? Things are not normal. She caused it. She can invent whatever excuse she needs for her family. What she cannot do is gripe or complain about the fact she made everything FUBAR instead of everything being normal. Consequences.
Stay tuned for more.
Redditor 5. Our anniversary is coming up in a week or two. I had scheduled a fancy night out with my wife. Still good to go? Yes. But talk with her first. Let her know that you still cherish the day you married her and the life you plan to have, and you are celebrating that. Not where you are now. Her birthday is also coming up very soon, and I had made plans, gifts. It's still her birthday and you still care for her. I think the question answers itself. Look, she has to face consequences, but you don't have to punish her. Fine line, I know, but that's the choice you make when you try to reconcile with a cheater. She has a camping trip planned with her family and she wants me to go. Sounds like a good time to solidify how well you mesh as a couple. Moratorium on affair talk. Just enjoy the time. Let her reflect on how well her family feels about you. Let her ask herself how they would have felt had she dumped you for AP. She will. We have family vacation, her family coming up. Is it wise to go? Or would I feel like I'd be sold a S-it sandwich during this time? I'd need more detail, but I'd probably ask her to put a hold on that if there's still time to change plans back. Any excuse will do. But sooner or later she's going to have to tell them what she has done. Maybe she could tell them about the EA and see how they feel about the two of you coming. They probably don't want their vacation ruined.